It was never supposed to go down like this, but life's got a funny way of throwing you overboard without a life vest. If you were to rewind, it all started with a throwaway line I tossed to Marcy over lattes one dreary afternoon. You know, I sighed, stirring my drink. Hank hasn't touched my hand in years. Marcy, bless her heart, gave that sympathetic look, eyes drifting to the rain streaking down the cafe window. We all have a Marcy, right? The friend who whispers, "A little spice never hurt anyone," or "Life's too damn short for regrets." I laughed it off, but her words burrowed in, especially in those quiet moments. Silence filled our Upper East Side brownstone, just the echo of Hank's pacing, always lost in some world miles away from me. Memories flickered, younger days, feeling desired, before life became this upscale chill. Then, like fate with a wink, my sister's kid, Ryan, walked back into my life at a family thing. A ghost from a past I barely knew. Ryan, always the rebel, globe-trotting, doing who knows what in places you needed a map for. 42, younger than me, sure, but age is just numbers, isn't it? Years gathering dust. A glance, a spark, something simmering, and suddenly, years, rules, they melt like wax. That night, stories poured from him. Greek islands, Istanbul markets, windswept Patagonia. His eyes met mine, a glint that made my heart do a jitterbug it hadn't in decades. Soon, catching up became a regular thing. Family webs needing mending, you know? Each time, a tension crackled, exhilarating and forbidden. I tried to ignore it, told myself it was a midlife blip, imagination playing tricks. But Ryan, with his knowing eyes and tales of a life I'd only dreamed of, became a dangerous obsession. It slipped in quiet, unnoticed, then wove itself into every thought, every glance in the mirror, every lonely moment aching. Don't peg me as some bored society wife conjuring fantasies. There's a truth we hide even from ourselves. People crave more than just existing. To feel alive, seen, wanted. Maybe that hunger doesn't fade. Maybe it sharpens, a blade waiting to cut through the emptiness. Hank, once charming, a Columbia professor with a sharp mind, drifted away. First to his books, then to his antique collection, those dusty relics seeming more alive than me. I accepted it, the natural ebb of marriage. But Ryan? Different. Every time I saw him, something ancient stirred, a reminder I wasn't just breathing, I was alive. The first time his hand brushed mine, a current surged, raw and potent. A touch that woke something dormant, something I thought buried. That simple, wordless gesture, it started the avalanche. Was it ruin, rekindled flames, or something darker? A dive into desire where lines blur and secrets bind. The days that followed were a whirlwind of choices I never imagined. Decisions shaking everything I knew. A tangled mess of emotions, family secrets, and yeah, danger. Once you cross that line, stepping back ain't easy. So here I am, looking back at a story that changed me. A tale of choices in shadows, alliances, betrayals, more than just cheating. How one moment spirals, reshaping everything familiar. But maybe, like all stories, it's best to start at the spark. A touch, a glance, nothing concrete, but we both knew something shifted. Ryan stayed after the reunion way longer than expected. Catching up, he said, but I wondered if he was as lost as me, reaching for something real. I invited him for tea, a small thing, I thought. We talked about the past, my sister, the lost years. Hank was away, another overnight research trip to Boston, some private artifact viewing he couldn't miss. He barely talked to me anymore. I'd stopped asking. I could count on one hand the times he seemed genuinely interested in my life lately. Seeing him off at Penn Station, glued to his phone, I felt like a stranger. The brownstone felt emptier than usual. I caught my reflection. A woman I barely knew, life drained, trapped in stillness. That hollow-eyed ghost staring back, that's who made me call Ryan. Next afternoon he arrived, wildflowers in hand. Flowers. Nobody brought me flowers anymore. Flustered, I thanked him. Just a habit, he shrugged. Picked it up traveling. People like flowers. We talked for hours. Europe, freelance writing, dangerous allure of places he shouldn't have been. I hung on every word, his stories filling a void I hadn't known was so deep. Then he paused, looked at me, really looked. "Ellie," he began, voice soft. "Must be lonely here, so much. Just you." Something in his tone made my heart skip. Seen, in a way I hadn't been in years, terrified me. I laughed it off. Gotten used to it. But his eyes stayed on mine, thoughtful, searching, understanding. As the sun dipped, Ryan stood to leave. At the door, he paused, looking down, intensity in his eyes. "Ellie," he murmured, barely a whisper. "Anything, anything at all you just call." Loaded words, hidden promise, invitation, a shiver of anticipation mixed with dread. Days passed. Tried to shake it off, but that afternoon clung to me. Hank returned, oblivious, buried in work, dinner, ancient artifacts, preservation, droning on. I tried to listen, really did, but all I could think of was Ryan's quiet promise. Next day, family obligation, excuse, lunch with Ryan, easy charm, stories. This time, relationships. What kind of woman could keep up with him? "Never really settled," he replied, hint of regret. "Maybe I'm not the settling type." "Hard to believe," I said, bold. "You seem dependable." He looked at me, gaze piercing. "Appearances," he said. "Deceiving, Ellie. Sometimes people aren't what they seem." Conversation shifted, personal. Less travels, more loneliness. Loneliness I knew too well. Slowly, I shared things I hadn't in years. Waiting for Hank, emptiness. Marriage like dust. "Shame," Ryan said, voice low. "You deserve more." Echoed in my mind, simple words, heavy weight. He saw something in me, longing for touch, life I'd abandoned. Weeks drifted, Hank and I further apart, preoccupied, gone for days. Alone, thoughts turned to Ryan. Conversations replayed, compliments, lingering eyes. Then one evening he called. Living room, dim light, reading, phone rang, Ryan, warm, familiar voice. "Hope I'm not disturbing you." Gentle tone. "No, not at all," heart skipped. "Thinking about you," he continued, hesitation. "Late, but drink? Love to see you." Impulsive. Should have said no, but excitement surged. Agreed. Small bar downtown, hadn't been there in ages. Ryan was there, corner, drink. Eyes lit up seeing me. For a moment, someone else, young, desirable. Hours, conversation flowed, comfortable intimacy, charged energy, unspoken but felt. Night wore on, hand across table, fingers brushed mine. Innocent gesture, thrill I couldn't ignore. Looked up, walls I'd built crumbled, knew I shouldn't cross that line. But desire erases boundaries, convinces you one step can't hurt. That night, madness began. Ryan and I, secret meetings. Connection deepened. Refuge felt truly alive. Shed years, loveless marriage, just me. Confidant, friend, then more. Relationship evolved, tangled emotions. Passion, yes, but dependence, need beyond attraction. Meetings more frequent, doubt crept in. Ryan distant sometimes, calculating. Gaze too sharp, words measured. Secrets. Vague mentions of his past. Hushed phone calls he'd step away for. One evening, rendezvous, I asked. "Ryan," cautiously, "feels like part of you I don't know." Long look, flicker of something unreadable. "Ellie," softly, "we all have parts we don't share. Maybe better that way." Unsettled, intrigued, wanted to trust him, believe secrets harmless. But deep down, dangerous territory. That danger, unknown, kept me hooked. Secrecy grew, ivy around my life. Excuses to leave, errands, late appointments, each easier than last. Deceit intoxicating as time with Ryan. Alive like this in years. But more we met. Clearer I wasn't the only one with secrets. Small things. Text on Ryan's phone, unexplained. Vague work references never added up. Travels, skipped details, evasive charm. Curious. One evening, clandestine meeting, I pressed. "Ryan," murmured, quiet restaurant. "Feel like I barely know you." Smiled, leaned back, unnerving intensity. "Ellie," carefully, "you know me better than most." Rest. Mystery. Wanted to push, phone calls, packages at his temporary place. Something in his gaze stopped me. Warning, let it go, overthinking, complex past. Doubt lingered. Weeks later, Hank's business trip, alone, too much time. Empty brownstone, aimless, guilt in my stomach. Decided to do something I hadn't in years. Hank's study. Meticulous, documents, artifacts, cataloged, notes, journals, neat handwriting, ancient artifacts, history. Folder, bold letters, missing artifacts. Pulled it open, eyes widened. High-profile art heists, stolen artifacts, black market flourishing. Howard's notes, Objects stolen. Methods, modern art thieves. Name circled red. Ryan Tate. Eyes deceiving me? No. Howard investigating art thefts. Reason to believe Ryan connected. Shock, numb. Sank into Hank's chair. Mind racing. Ryan's stories, phone calls, packages, twisted sense couldn't be true. Ryan wouldn't. But dark part of me, drawn to mystery, wondered if I'd only seen what he wanted me to see. Didn't know how to ask. Next meeting, unease obvious. Ryan noticed. Ellie, softly, brows furrowed. Something's wrong. Hesitated, searched his face. Ryan, whisper. Be honest. Involved in anything illegal? Taken aback, moment. Expression shifted, gaze hardened, met my eyes. Why ask that? Just found something, replied, words struggling. Hank's office, investigating art thefts. Thinks you're involved. Heavy silence. Ryan processed, exhaled, relief and resignation. So you know. Words hit like a punch. Hoped he'd deny it, laugh it off, no humor in his eyes. Yes, Ellie, quietly, pretense dropped. I'm involved. Not simple as you think. Nausea, heart pounding, truth. Ryan, stop this, not who you are. You don't know who I am, he replied, voice tinged with bitterness or regret. This is my life. Dangerous, yes. Only thing made me feel alive. Crushing despair. Fallen for stranger. Life of lies, deception. Yet, even now, part of me couldn't pull away. You could come with me, suddenly, soft, intense. Leave this behind. Your life, Hank, everything. Go somewhere far. No one knows us. I could protect you. Temptation overwhelming. Leave, start new, escape confines, excitement, risk. Fantasy I'd never dared to entertain. Offered on silver platter. Impossible. Tied to this life. Duty, loyalty, years building something flawed, but still mine. Shook head, voice trembling. Can't, Ryan, can't leave my life. Disappointment, eyes, nodded. Understand, Ellie, but remember, change your mind, I'll be here. Days blurred. Hank returned, none the wiser. Routines, oblivious, wife wrestling with secrets. Ryan grew distant. Calls, messages dwindled, vanished, grateful, didn't want to drag him down. Tether him to life he'd never belonged to. One night, phone rang, not Ryan. Stranger's voice, low, urgent. Mrs. Eleanor Weller? Yes? Heart pounding. New York Police Department. Need you to come down. Matter involving your nephew, Ryan Tate. World tilted. Mind struggling. Ryan, police trouble. Nightmare feared. Consequence of his choices. Caught up with him. Station next morning. Trembling. Stern detective. Tired eyes. Sympathy. Suspicion. Mrs. Weller, he began. Nephew Ryan Tate staying in town past few months, correct? Yes. Barely audible. Leaned forward, unyielding gaze. Suspect in ongoing investigation. High-profile art heists, Northeast. Nausea. Truth. Real. Ryan, no longer charming man. Fugitive. Wanted. Choice. Protect him, lie, shield him. Or truth, expose him, sever ties. Chose to protect him. Foolish, selfish, couldn't betray him. Couldn't let man I'd cared for be dragged down. Lied. Knew nothing. Ryan visiting family. Never mentioned stolen art. Let me go. Suspicion lingered. Crossed line, never uncrossed. Left station. Finality, weight like shroud. Lied to protect man who led me into secrets, lies. Taken me to edge, left me to face consequences, life never same. After police station, no word from Ryan. Calls, texts, unanswered. Vanished, questions. Tense silence, waiting. Detectives again, Ryan back. Life with Hank, monotony. Comforting, suffocating familiarity. Notice changes. Restless energy I couldn't hide. Buried himself in work, ignoring problems. One night, frustration, Hank's study. Files, Ryan's secrets. Notes. Detail caught my eye. Name, hadn't noticed. Circled, underlined. Victor Vance. Howard's notes, primary buyers, stolen artifacts. Exclusive black market network, wealthy elite. That night, Vance's name, obsessing. Connected to Ryan's disappearance, Vance know where Ryan was hiding. Worse, reason Ryan on run. Next morning, decision. Change everything. Address linked to Victor Vance. Upscale estate 2 hours out of town. Reckless, foolish. But doing nothing. Losing Ryan without answers. Unbearable. Told Hank. Visiting Marcy for weekend. Small bag. Drove to estate. Nerves. Faint hope of closure. Sprawling mansion. Gated. Heavily guarded. Lingered outside. Glimpse of Vance. Ryan. Hours. Nothing. Give up. Figure emerged. Gates. Tall man, authority, sharp gaze. Chill. Victor Vance. Forced myself to approach, praying he wouldn't see through me. Mr. Vance? Mustered courage. Need your help. Looking for nephew, Ryan Tate. Gaze flickered. Recognition. Said nothing. Waiting. Trouble, I continued. Mixed up with people, hurt him. Vance smiled. Cold, calculated, deepened unease. Your nephew, interesting man, Mrs. Weller. Afraid little I can do. Disappeared. Chose to. Dismissal. Knew more. Please, whispered desperation. Just need to know he's safe. Vance's smile faded. Gaze hardened. Safety. Choice, Mrs. Weller. Ryan chose his path. Faced consequences. Turned, walked away. Alone on steps. Foolish, terrified. Answers sought. More questions. Haunting suspicion. Ryan involved in something darker than imagined. Weeks. No word. Ryan gone. Message. On phone. Late night. Meet me at the old diner. Noon tomorrow. Come alone. Unsigned. Ryan. Sleepless night. Relief. Dread. Confront version I didn't recognize. Stranger in familiar face. Next day. Diner. Heart pounding. Scanned crowd. Ryan. Wall. Drawn. Shadowed face. Weariness etched in features. Ryan. Relief. Approached. Expression guarded. Distant. Ellie shouldn't have come. Strained voice. Needed to know you were safe. Searching his face. Where have you been? Running. Simply. Deep with people like Vance. No going back. Chilled me. Forced calm. Ryan, let me help. We can find way out. Shook head. Dark, unyielding eyes. No way out, Ellie. This is my life. Only way you can help. Staying away. Words like slap. Knew they were true. Chose this path. Bound to it. Stronger forces. Accept it. Let him go. Turned to leave. Hand on my arm. Whisper. Sorry, Ellie. Never wanted you hurt. Bittersweet farewell. Fractured goodbye. More scars than I cared to admit. Walked away from diner, hollow ache, lost Ryan for good. Life, empty rhythm, ghosts of choices lingered. Haunting quiet moments, Hank, oblivious, research, drifting days, numb resignation. Changes in me, restless energy. He ignored it. One night, frustration, stormed into Hank's study, rifled through files, Vance's name. Invitation, elegant envelope, embossed emblem of Victor Vance. Inside, chilling message. Join me for tea, unfinished business. Foreboding, undeniable curiosity. Accepted. Estate. Stealing myself. Butler, lavish sitting room. Vance awaited. Cold gaze, appraising. Mrs. Weller, began, pouring tea, ridiculous precision. Understand you were close to your nephew. Difficult losing someone, connected to your heart. Trace of mockery. Skin prickled. What do you want, Mr. Vance? Anger couldn't mask. Smiled, unfazed. Offer, Mrs. Weller. Ryan left loose ends. Closest living relative, unique position to settle debts. Horrified. Want me to pay off his debts? Not quite, Vance replied. Cruel glint. Offering chance to fulfill obligations. Honor his memory. Unspoken meaning. Sickening clarity. He wanted me to step into Ryan's shoes. Become part of world that tore my life apart. Can't, whispered, voice shaking. Not like him. Oh, but you are, Mrs. Weller, voice silken threat. Lied to police to protect him. Makes you more than qualified. Silence. Mind racing. Horror of offer. Dark allure of escape. Cornered. He knew it. Vance's estate again, agreeing to terms, temporary arrangement, settle Ryan's debts, free myself from Vance's grip. Tasks he gave me, contacts, covert exchanges, deceptions, twisted part of my life. Each lie, transaction, deepened entanglement in world I barely recognized. Hank, blissfully unaware. Life untouched by darkness consuming mine. Drifted further from him. Double life widened chasm, fractured marriage, part of me, thrill, purpose I hadn't known in years. Thrill gave way to something darker, creeping realization, no longer passive player. Pawn, yes, but growing hunger for power he wielded. Breaking point, night I'll never forget. Vance, private gathering, masked event, elite mingled in shadows, deadly sophistication business. Out of place, reluctant participant. Wealth, secrecy. Across room, Hank, standing beside Vance. Low tones, expression, absolute familiarity. He belonged there, always belonged there. World shattered, Hank knew. Part of world I despised. Hiding secrets, mask of academia, respectability, man I knew playing his own game, intersected with mine, unimaginable ways, breathless, fury, betrayal. After party, confronted Hank, darkened home, shadows danced across face, demanded answers, voice trembling rage. Did you know, Hank? Whisper. About Vance? Everything? Hank's face, hint of guilt, met my gaze, calm, steady resolve. Beatrice, slowly. Things you don't understand. Ignited fury. Spark exploded, demanded truth, forced him to admit everything. Art deals, double life, lies, marriage, truth, confession, shattered illusions. Hank, part of this world long before me, life entangled in deception, now ensnared me. Left him that night. Darkness, weight of betrayal. Home, physical, emotional liberation. Walls held me captive crumbled. Uncertain world. Life defined by loyalty to stranger, secrets unknowingly inherited, illusions shattered, wandered aimlessly, night silence, anger, betrayal, Vance's estate. Never thought I'd return willingly. Vance greeted me, smug satisfaction. Mrs. Weller, voice smooth, wasn't expecting you back so soon. Hank was there, I replied, barely whisper. You knew, didn't you? Knew he was involved all along. Vance's smile widened. Triumph. Your husband, man of unique talents, coolly. Arrangement, many years, mutually beneficial. Cold rage. You used me, spat. Made me think Ryan's debt, responsibility. Vance shrugged, unbothered. Perhaps. Played part well, Mrs. Weller. Exceeded expectations. Few courage to step into this world, adapt as you have. Silence. Palpable tension. Realized manipulation. Vance deceived, relished power, guiding choices, altered life forever. Why me? Shaking voice. Why bring me into this? Vance's gaze softened. Pity? Because, Mrs. Weller, power not given, taken, showed strength I admire, offered you place at my side, could have been more than pawn, chose loyalty over ambition. Defiance, refusal to let him define choices. Think loyalty weakness? Steadying voice. Stared him down. For most, yes. Not for you, replied. Condescending, admiring, that's what makes you different. Something clicked. Vance's words, praise, manipulation. Transparent facade, danger beneath charm, people, pieces on board. I, intriguing play, not finished with him. You may have fooled me once, Vance, not again. Defiance, surprised myself. Done being pawn in your games. To surprise, he smiled, waiting for this moment. Is that so? Amused tone. Tell me, Mrs. Weller, what do you plan to do? Didn't expect question. Faltered. Answer came. Clarity. Plan to make things right, replied, calm, resolute. Used me, manipulated me. That ends now? Taking back control. Raised eyebrow, intrigued. And how, may I ask, plan to do that? You'll see. Turned, walked away. Lingering shadow of his laughter. Home, house of mirrors. Every corner, room, reflected life I thought real. Illusion. Hank waiting, study, unreadable expression. Surprise, steely resolve in my eyes. Determination he hadn't expected. Need to talk, steady voice. Nodded, gestured to sit. Suppose we do. Sat across. Distance wider than ever. Words struggled. Anger, betrayal poured out. Each accusation, painful truth, couldn't ignore. You lied to me, voice thick, about everything. Ryan, Vance, life you've been leading behind my back. Silent, gaze steady, listening, finished, sighed, weariness. Yes, Beatrice, calm, resigned voice. I did lie, never intention to hurt you. Hollow words, empty justification, fueled anger. Betrayed me, whispered finality. Used marriage as shield, cover for life in shadows. Long silence, absorbed words, expression softened, rare hint of regret. Protecting you, Ellie. Thought if I kept you in dark, you'd be safe. Safe? Incredulous. Think I'm safe now? Dragged into world I don't belong. Pawn in twisted game with Vance. Nothing safe about this. No response. Silence reinforced gulf. Man I loved, gone. Stranger, life built on lies, betrayal. Left Hank that night. Home, last time. Future ahead wouldn't include him. Life defined by loyalty, submission, blank slate. Canvas I could shape. Loose end to tie up. Victor Vance. Estate, final time. Confront man who manipulated me, pawn in his game. Approached. Strange calm, certainty, end of entanglement. Vance greeted me, smirk, surprise, determined expression. Mrs. Weller, voice sarcasm. To what do I owe pleasure? Here to end this, unwavering voice. Used me, played me, done being your pawn. Vance chuckled, amused. Is that so? How exactly plan to end this? By walking away, replied, holding gaze. Manipulated me, no longer hold power over me. Smiled, enjoying challenge. What about Hank? Plan to walk away from him as well? Yes, replied finality. Hank made choice, kept me in dark. I'm choosing myself now. Vance nodded, glint of respect. Very well, Mrs. Weller. May leave. Remember, one step into my world, not so easy to walk away. Met gaze unflinching. Watch me. Turned, left, freedom. Vance's manipulation, Hank's lies, Ryan's betrayal, lifted. Clean slate. Rebuild life on own terms. Weeks followed, small coastal town, far from life I'd known. Days by ocean. Waves wash away past. No more secrets, lies, quiet solitude, life I could call my own. Occasionally Ryan, peace in his own way, escaped darkness, still out there drifting in shadows. Thoughts grew quiet, fading like dreams. Life I lived, distant echo. Chapter closed. Shore, sunset, peace settled over me. Years, free, lies, manipulation, shadows consumed me, finally free.